Also tonight, a Texas jury ruling against a famous conspiracy theorist in a trial that put the families of the deadliest elementary school shooting in U.S. history on the stand. Alex Jones is his name. He's been ordered to pay more than $4 million in damages to the parents of a 6-year-old boy. His name was Jesse, who was killed in the Sandy Hook attack. The first time the InfoWars host has been held financially responsible for the lies that he spread in the years that followed. Correspondent Marky Martin is joining us live tonight in Dallas with the very latest on this verdict and the response from the jury and so many others tonight. Marky.
Yeah, Marnie, that jury deciding that InfoWars host Alex Jones now owes the family of one Sandy Hook victim more than $4 million for spreading lies and conspiracy theories for years that school shooting was a staged hoax, a school shooting that took the lives of 20 students and 6 staff members in December of 2012.
All right.
In an Austin, Texas courtroom today, a jury handed down their verdict for InfoWars host Alex Jones.
Question 3A, $1.5 million, and question 3B, $500,000.
The judge reading aloud each claim, totaling to $4.1 million Jones owes the parents of 6-year-old Sandy Hook victim Jesse Lewis, who said Jones' portrayal of the massacre as a hoax and parents as actors made it impossible for them to heal. Outside the courthouse, the parents' attorney addressing the decision.
I hope that any other media people who are watching and thinking that they may be able to defame a private person like this knows that there is a multi-million-dollar consequence, and we aren't done, folks. So everybody tune in tomorrow. We'll be putting on additional evidence. We'll be sending the jury back again, and we'll have to decide what is going to be necessary to punish Mr. Jones and make sure nobody ever does this again.
During days of witness testimony, the jury heard from both parents about the anguish they've endured from Jones' repeated lies.
Having a 6-year-old son shot in the forehead in his first-grade classroom is unbearable.
When it's stated that Jesse's was fake, that is an indication that he didn't exist and he didn't live. He did live. I was blessed with him for 6.5 years.
Jones himself taking the stand for 2 days, finally admitting under oath that the Sandy Hook shooting did in fact take place, and his words and actions were irresponsible.
It was, especially since I met the parents, and it's 100% real.
Why do you think Sandy Hook was a conspiracy?
I saw really powerful forces politicize. I think we subconsciously didn't want to believe it because it was being blamed collectively on gun owners.
Jones also acknowledging he had historically raised false conspiracy claims about other heinous tragedies, from the Oklahoma City and Boston Marathon bombings to mass shootings in Las Vegas and Parkland, Florida. Perhaps the biggest shocking twist of the trial came Wednesday when it was revealed that Jones' attorneys had mistakenly sent the parents' attorney the last 2 years' worth of text messages from Jones' cell phone.
And as of 2 days ago, it fell free and clear into my possession. And that is how I know you lied to me when you said you didn't have text messages about Sandy Hook.
Now, Marnie, punitive damages have yet to be decided, so Jones could be paying much more. Court will reconvene at 8:45 tomorrow morning. We're expecting to hear more evidence, another charge, also more about Jones' financial situation. And remember, the parents originally had asked for $150 million in actual damages, and Jones has said previously any award over $2 million would sink him. Marnie.
And some don't agree with that math. Just horrific. This family has to go through this again. Marky, thank you. I want to bring in Christopher Vanghele. He is the captain, or was the captain, of the Newtown Police Department at the time of the shooting. He was also one of the first to respond that day at Sandy Hook. Chris, always great to see you. It is a pleasure to talk to you. This is just mind-blowing. The fact that this has happened, the trial that has been underway, what has it been like for you, one, to hear the conspiracy theories that he was spreading for the last few years, and then to watch this trial and the pain of these parents yet again?
Yeah, thank you, Marty. I've been a police officer for almost 30 years. I was a police officer when Columbine happened, and I was a police officer for every shooting between Columbine to Sandy Hook and afterward. never had I seen any of those shootings have such an outpouring of people that thought there was a conspiracy theory. It was very soon after the shooting where these theories started to come out, and the police department was inundated with phone calls, emails, people stopping by. And, you know, a lot of these people needed a mouthpiece, and that was what Alex Jones gave to them. It caused significant harm for obviously the families, but also for law enforcement, because how many of these people just listening to him were the ones that decided to call in the bomb threats that we've had, and the numerous, you know, copycats that wanted to call up and say we were going to shoot up your school. It did a lot of damage for a lot of years. We received a lot of emails. I personally have hundreds of emails from followers of Alex Jones, you know, condemning me and my role, questioning me and what I did that day. I've been sued by them for freedom of information. And I'll tell you, this is a long time coming. And I'm glad that there's some justice being done for the families and for law enforcement and for the town and for the country.
Does an apology, Chris, from Alex Jones mean anything now?
No, not at all. He had plenty of time to apologize, but this is a person who, you sit there and watch him for 5 seconds and you understand that he's a snake oil salesman. And he's probably the least crazy of anybody that's his followers. He's a smart individual, he's talented, he can speak, and he had an audience. And he knew right away that this was his ticket and he was gaining financial gain out of this. And that's all he saw. And he continued to do this for years and years and years, just to put a couple dollars in his pocket, which is shameful. He's the worst type of human being there is.
Does this send a message, though, to the people who were willing to listen, who called in those threats, who believed what he was saying? I mean, what is the far-reaching message that this sends, and does it actually stop the conspiracies that continue?
You know, I think for him, you're not going to see anybody with a large platform like that again that has their own show. But unfortunately, what happens is a lot of his followers, there are still people that believe this, they go underground. There's a huge component of these individuals that live on the internet. And, you know, I still think they think a certain way just because, you know, they're either mentally ill or they have nothing going on in their lives and they need something to grasp on. But I do believe that the far-reaching consequences are that there will never be somebody that spouts this type of rhetoric, you know, on cable or even on some type of a large network.
To hear Jesse's parents talk, Chris, during this trial and share what was on their heart and the pain that they have endured was just gut-wrenching to hear. You responded to the scene that day. You'll never unsee what you witnessed, the horror that had taken place inside that school. How does this conspiracy that started with Alex Jones, spread nationwide, impact the healing process and your personal healing journey to try to overcome the atrocities you witnessed?
You know, I used to say I wish some of these conspiracy theorists could have been with me that day, to be at my side, to see what I saw and the other first responders, because then they would know the reality of what exactly happened that day. You know, I think this is going to be closing a chapter in that book. You know, I'm not sure, you know, if all the families are going to feel the exact same way. I hope for them it closes a chapter and lets them heal. And for them, they get a sense of justice out of it. But it's not done. You know, we still have 2 more trials left, and they still have to award damages for punitive. And so hopefully those are very, very large to send even a bigger message.
It's a painful.
I think the parents are going to heal.
It's a painful process. But Chief, you are a mouthpiece for truth, and we appreciate you coming on as always. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.